Hey guys, like many of you, I am slowly losing my hair and I've been trying to stop or reverse that hair loss with a bit of self-experimentation. So far, I've tried supplementing with pumpkin seed oil and doing a daily scalp massage. The pumpkin seed oil did nothing. I think you can see that my hair is the same, if not worse, after 24 weeks, but the scalp massage did seem to make a difference. I did the experiments back to back, so the week 24 picture of pumpkin seed oil becomes the week 0 picture for scalp massage. I was doing 5 minutes a day for 24 weeks, and after what I deemed to be signs of improvement, I vowed to continue with scalp massage and update you all again. The next 24 weeks, I allowed myself the freedom to massage for longer, but that also meant that I gave myself days off, and that inconsistency was a huge backward step for me. I only did the equivalent of 2 minutes 40 a day for the next 24 weeks, and after that my scalp looked like this. Now it's actually really tough to get the exact angle and lighting each time, and I moved house so I didn't have my usual spot from the last video. I did feel it was worth pursuing, so I decided to do another 24 weeks. The decision to do scalp massage was based on a research paper which showed hair being regrown, and it included a specific protocol from a video tutorial. My first 24 weeks were done using a handheld massager like this, but for the third 24 weeks, I used the techniques in the tutorial, which I'll briefly cover now. It involves a 20-minute routine as follows: 3 minutes general scalp massage to warm up and get the blood flowing, 6 minutes of pinching dedicated to one of 3 areas of the head: the hairline, the vertex, and the sides, 6 minutes of pressing, so applying pressure to the scalp, and finally 5 minutes of stretching, tacking the skin down with the fingertips and pulling it apart. I chose to do each area once a week, meaning 3 20-minute routines, equivalent to 8.5 minutes a day. Most weeks I dropped the 5-minute stretching for the side of my head, so I ended up doing around 7 minutes a day on average. So here are my results. The camera work is a bit all over the place, but I made an effort to align the head angle for weeks 24 and 72. So over a period of about a year, you might not see much thinning, but it's receded a lot. The idea behind massage is to improve circulation, and I feel that the original protocol I chose of 5 minutes every day delivered that better, because it's no use massaging for longer if you then take several days off. If I were to recommend a scalp massage protocol, I would actually go the other way with frequency, and I would recommend breaking the 5 minutes down into 2 to 3 minutes every morning and evening. However, I'm not going to continue with my massage. Instead, I've got a brand new protocol, which I'm going to share in a bit. In my previous video, I invited people to add comments to let me know what else I should try or what's worked for them. I got a huge response, enough that I can actually share a top 20, and that's shaped my next self-experiment. I even had to leave some out where the research still found that it had a positive effect. Before I run through the top 20, I want to mention the best of the rest, which includes supplements like lycopene. Lycopene was actually in the paper I read about pumpkin seed oil, but for whatever reason at the time I concluded that it wasn't likely to work. Then American Crew Thickening Shampoo, which contains peppermint oil, which we'll come to later, and reading The Hair Loss Solution by R.W. McGillicuddy. That was possibly a waste of £7. There's a very questionable solution to hair loss, followed by some general health tips which actually made sense. Magnesium was mentioned. In general, I think if you have a deficiency, it's good to cover your bases, and magnesium is a common one that the general population may lack. Tea tree oil, which is said to have cleansing, antibacterial, and antimicrobial properties. This would be used topically, meaning applying it directly to the scalp, and because it's so potent, it can't be used directly, and you would need to dilute it in a carrier oil like coconut oil or olive oil. This came up quite frequently, where an oil would be mentioned and it would be several drops of it in a different kind of base oil. So it might be a teaspoon of olive oil and 2 or 3 drops of tea tree oil, and that would be applied to the scalp, left and then washed off after however many minutes. There were various suggestions that are said to improve blood flow to the scalp that ranged from backwards rolls, certain yoga poses, headstands, or simply putting your head between your legs. I read one of the hair loss books which said you don't want to go too intense with these body positions, and a better solution would be to just lie on a bed with your head off the end so that your heart is above your head. This is actually the position that I would choose if I was doing the 2 to 3 minute scalp massage that I mentioned earlier. I also watched the DHT Myth by Christopher Walker. That's a 29-minute video. The important information starts at about 16 minutes in, and that's linked in the description below. If you want a summary, I'm putting one on screen now, and you can pause and read through it if it interests you. The final one outside the top 20 was red clover extract. A study did show improvements in hair growth over 4 months when applied topically, but as you'll see, I was recommended a lot of topical solutions, so this one doesn't make the cut. This takes us into the top 20, which I've added a teaser for at the side. I've ruled out the first 4 for one reason or another. That includes RU58841. That is an anti-androgen. For those of you not up on your hair loss science, it's all caused by a hormone called DHT and other androgens. So taking an anti-androgen should fight the cause directly. However, this is an experimental supplement and it is not cleared for human use. So I would urge you not to take a risk like that over something as trivial as hair loss. Then Redensyl, this is said to be up to twice as effective as minoxidil, but at £20 a month, that's not a commitment I'm willing to make indefinitely. Just to jump ahead, minoxidil is in at 6, but the combination of cost and potential side effects rules that one out. Interestingly, the mechanism behind minoxidil is thought to be that it dilutes the tiny blood vessels in the scalp and allows improved blood circulation to the hair follicles. So this sort of backs up the idea that scalp massage may actually work. No masturbation. A direct correlation has been found between DHT levels and frequency of ejaculation, but the study suggests that it may be a result of rather than a cause of higher DHT levels. And then finally, a hair transplant. Again, monetary costs and not really what I'm after here. In at 16 is the topical application of coffee. I know there's a caffeine shampoo called Alpecin. This person suggested making fresh coffee, letting it cool, and applying it to the scalp twice a day with a spray. Reduce stress. I do like this one, but stress causes temporary shedding, and once the stress is gone, the hair should come back naturally within around 6 months. Next is the Derma Pen, which is a very small needle. It's also known as microneedling, and using it on the scalp is said to stimulate the stem cells in hair follicles and encourage growth. I didn't go for that, but I did go for a derma roller, which has lots of little needles, 540 to be precise, and that's on a roller that can be used directly on the scalp. These are 0.5mm titanium needles. Depending on where you read, it's anywhere from 0.5 to 1.5 that can be used on the scalp. The longer needles increase risk of infection, so I chose a shorter needle, which will mean slightly more frequent use. Moving on to a biotin supplement, 10,000 micrograms taken sublingually every day. It sounds effective, though it's potentially only beneficial if you're currently deficient. I'll be taking 5,000 micrograms daily. Biotin-rich foods include egg yolk, legumes, nuts and seeds, which I get plenty of, but the doses here are in the thousands of % of your daily allowance, so it'd be very hard to get it from food alone. Next is rosemary oil. It's well studied and I saw a lot of positive talk about it when I searched online, so that is the first ingredient in the topical mixture I'll be trying out. 11, 10 and 8 are cayenne oil, eucalyptus oil and castor oil. Castor oil sounded the most interesting of the 3 and all seem to have some evidence they work. There really are a lot of topical solutions suggested and I've chosen to skip these for now. The 9th most popular comment was directing me to something called More Plates, More Dates. I read an article of his about DHT and testosterone, in which he actually dismissed the earlier video by Christopher Walker as complete nonsense. His solution was to use RU58841, the experimental anti-androgen. He also recommended using shampoo containing ketoconazole, either Regena Pure DR shampoo or Nizoral anti-dandruff. The ingredient ketoconazole removes the buildup of DHT in the hair follicle, and he opts for Nizoral purely because it's cheaper. And I ordered a bottle on eBay for £7 and will be adding that to my routine. 7 is olive oil. Again, this is a carrier oil, and I've chosen instead to go with number 4, coconut oil. There's very little between them, so I based this purely on which one was recommended more. There's a major one that's yet to be mentioned yet, and that is finasteride. That is a pill which works to inhibit the production of DHT in the body. This has had some pretty high-profile side effects regarding sexual function. So while I appreciate that some of you have taken it and been perfectly fine, I'm not willing to run that risk. And finally, the number 1 solution, which will be featuring alongside rosemary oil and coconut oil in my topical solution, is peppermint oil. This has been shown to increase circulation to the scalp and promote hair growth. Add 2 drops to a teaspoon of carrier oil. In this case, it's going to be coconut oil. Going to leave it on for however long and then wash it out in the shower. I have, of course, not revealed number 3 on the list, which was variations of people telling me to either shave my head or accept my hair loss. I really do appreciate the supportive comments about how I look and that I shouldn't worry. But as someone pointed out, if I really was that desperate, I would just be on finasteride and minoxidil by now. Really, it's just in my personality to run experiments like this and to have myself as a hair loss test subject. That's an opportunity I'm only going to get once. If there is something out there that works, then I'd like to find it and share it with other people. I mean, I've got my entire life to be bald, so for the next couple of years, I want to fight it and see where it takes me. With that in mind, here is a full rundown of my next protocol, which I plan to run for at least 90 days. That's roughly how long it might be for me to see results. So Nizoral shampoo, twice a week for the first month, then once a week thereafter. Straight after that is derma rolling, 0.5mm titanium needles. I found a protocol online which is 5 rolls back to front, left to right, then both the diagonals. I've done this twice now and it's a little bit sore, so I'm glad I didn't go for a longer needle. Some suggested that a short needle stops hair loss and a longer one is needed for hair regrowth, but with the infection risk, I'm opting for 0.5mm. It's really important that the scalp is allowed time to heal, so I've already reduced it from twice a week to once a week because I could tell my scalp was still recovering. Then a topical mixture of 1 teaspoon of coconut oil, 2 drops of rosemary oil, and 2 drops of peppermint oil. I have a shot glass I put in a sink of warm water, and the coconut oil melts, allowing me to pour it onto my hand and then on my head. The first time I left it on for 20 minutes, the second time I left it on all day, and I'd get random tingles throughout the day, which is the blood flow improving. I'll probably stick with 20 minutes. Doing it after derma rolling improves absorption by up to 8 times, so that's enough for me. And my wife could smell my head from across the room, so it is a potent mixture. Then supplements, KSM 66 ashwagandha, which is from the Christopher Walker video. Biotin, 5,000 micrograms. There aren't long-term studies on the effects of high dosage, so I went with half the recommendation to be safe. Those supplements are both taken with breakfast, and ZMA, which is zinc, magnesium, and vitamin B6, taken before bed. The recommended dose is 3 pills, but I'll be taking 2 pills daily because if you know, you know. I started this on the 18th of October 2021, so day 90 will be around mid-January 2022. Please do be patient with my uploads. I haven't abandoned this channel by any means. I'm just incredibly busy right now and will be for the foreseeable future. So please be patient. Thank you for watching.